You ever have one of those perfect afternoons, the kind you wish you could bottle up and keep forever, right up until someone comes along and ruins it so completely, it feels like you've been slapped awake? Yeah, that's where this all starts. I was standing in Kid Zone, this place that smells like sugar and plastic, holding up two Spider-Man shirts while my son practically vibrated beside me. 7 years old, eyes like saucers, just trying to decide which hero was cooler. It was our annual father-son back-to-school tradition, sneakers and a mountain of clothes. Him bouncing with joy, me soaking it all up, thinking, man, this is what all those long hours at the firm are for. He picked the black suit Spider-Man. He's more powerful, Daddy. My heart just about exploded. I was about to say yes when this voice cuts through the music, sharp as a whip. Is that a company credit card you're using? Because there's no way your people can afford nice things like this unless you're stealing from your employer. At first, I thought she was talking to someone else. Had to be, right? But no. This woman, late 60s, hair like she lost a fight with a curling iron, sweater so ugly it should be a crime, was pointing her finger right at me. And just like that, the magic died. My son shrank behind my leg, little hand gripping my suit pants. All the happiness just gone, replaced by this sick, hot anger. I tried to keep my cool, told her she was mistaken. She just laughed, nasty and loud, and started in on how you people always cheat the system. Now, I've been called things in my life, but having a stranger accuse me of stealing because I'm a black man in a suit buying stuff for my son, it hits different. My job, my life, everything I do is for this boy. And now this woman's poison is leaking all over our day. She didn't stop. Her voice got louder, the words uglier, and suddenly she was looking at my son like he was an accomplice. I could feel that parent rage boiling up, but I knew better than to let it out. I asked her, calm as I could manage, to please leave us alone. She just smirked and started making air quotes, accusing me of planning to run out without paying. She called herself a concerned citizen. Nah, she was the hero in her own mind, and I was the villain. Other shoppers started pretending to browse, but really just watched us, waiting for a show. A teenage employee named Kevin walked over, face nervous. Before I could speak, she turned on him. Call security. Call the police. She accused me of stealing or using a stolen credit card, right in front of everyone. Kevin looked scared, like he wanted to disappear. I could see doubt flicker in his eyes. Suddenly, I was the suspicious one. I was the problem. My son was clutching my leg, tears running down his face, and I couldn't take it anymore. That's enough, I snapped. That's all she needed. Her eyes lit up. She whipped out her phone and started screaming that I was threatening her. She called 911, said I was kidnapping a child and planning to hurt her. Lies, deliberate, calculated, dangerous lies. And in this country, you don't play around with that kind of story. The cops showed up. First mall security, then real officers. Nobody wanted to hear my side. They wanted me to step away from my son, my own son, Leo, who by now was sobbing. I showed my ID. I explained, but the woman kept spinning her tale. Then, just when I thought it couldn't get worse, my credit card got flagged at the register. Fraud alert. Of course it was, after a long day of shopping, but to them, it was proof. Proof that this black man in a suit had to be a thief. I tried to stay calm, tried to explain, but they talked about taking me to the station. My son heard the words and wailed, "Don't take my daddy." I hugged him tight and told the cops I'd call my lawyer, my wife, their commanding officer, whatever it took. That finally slowed them down. Then, out of nowhere, a woman stepped up. She'd been filming. She was fierce, maybe early 30s, workout gear, not taking anybody's crap. She told everyone what she'd seen. She had the whole thing on video, the racism, the harassment, the lies. Suddenly, the power shifted. The aggressive cop backed off. The calmer one watched the video. Faces changed. The cops apologized. The Karen, Margaret, as I later learned, was arrested for filing a false report and causing a public disturbance. For a moment, I almost felt vindicated. But it was a hollow win. Leo was still shaking. The joy was gone. We left the store with our bags, but I felt emptied out. Later, at home, my wife wrapped her arms around me. We tried to explain it all to Leo, but he just stared at the wall. That night, a 30-second clip, just me raising my voice, went viral. Out of context, I looked like the aggressor. People online rushed to judge. My reputation, my family's peace, under attack. The next day, my boss called me in, cold, formal. HR was there. They'd seen the video. Never mind the truth. Never mind the context. The optics were bad for the firm. They put me on leave, pending an investigation. 15 years of hard work, loyalty, all gone in a snap, because some random woman decided to play vigilante. My wife, she's tougher than anyone I know, found us a crisis PR rep, Gina, who said we had to flip the narrative. Get the full video out, go on offense. We got the witness to send us her footage, and Gina got it into the hands of a national news network. My civil rights lawyer, Daniel, found out Margaret's husband ran a major construction company, one of my firm's top clients. That's why my firm dropped me so fast. They weren't just protecting their image, they were protecting their business. The news segment aired, the real story went public. Support poured in, strangers, friends, clients. The mall fired its manager, started mandatory anti-bias training. Margaret's husband's company lost contracts, and my firm went into crisis mode. The partners who hadn't known the full story turned on HR and the managing partner. They offered me my job back with a promotion and a raise, but the trust was broken. Meanwhile, Margaret's lawyer tried to settle quick and quiet. We refused. Daniel filed suit for harassment and defamation, demanded a real apology, therapy for Leo, and a big settlement. When Margaret realized she'd have to testify under oath, her husband made her sign everything. The apology was public, real, and damning. I left my firm, started a new company with 2 old friends, and clients followed. We built something real, something better. Leo started healing. The money, the apologies, the public change, they mattered, but they didn't erase the scars. Still, there were good things. The toy company sent Leo every Spider-Man product under the sun, with a note saying heroes come in all colors. Months later, Margaret and her husband were divorced. He came up to me in a coffee shop, broken, and apologized. Not for her, for himself, for all the times he didn't speak up. It struck me how hate poisons everyone it touches. Sarah, the woman who filmed the video, became our friend. She started working in local activism. The mall's training program is now nationwide. Leo is back to being a joyful, creative kid, obsessed with Legos and space. Our family is closer. Every year, we still do that back-to-school trip, but now, it's different, more meaningful. One day, a young store employee told me, "Thank you for standing up. It changed things here." That's what stuck with me. Not the money, not the lawsuits, but knowing that telling the truth, refusing to back down, made something better, not just for us, but for everyone who comes after. There's a kind of revenge and joy, in resilience, in building something new out of the ashes. That's the ending I choose. That's the story I want Leo to carry. A story not just of survival, but of standing up, moving forward, and always buying your son the superhero shirt he wants. What about you? If it were your family, your reputation, your joy on the line, would you stand and fight or walk away? Tell me where you stand. Let's talk about what's right, what's fair, and how we turn the worst days into a story worth telling.